So welcome to this week's video message. We hope you enjoyed our update from last week, and as promised, we're going to try and do these regularly. So we'll jump right in this week to talking about the government assistance programs, to share with you some of the information that we've had over the last few days, some of the updates that we've had. So looking at CBILS first of all, the business interruption loan scheme, we've seen that progress has really sped up in all areas. So there's a lot more lenders now that are making facilities available, a lot more products on the market. The little kinks and issues seem to have been ironed out, and the application process is definitely speeding up and definitely a lot easier. So if you have any questions on that, please get in touch with us. As I said, we've picked up a tremendous amount of experience and information over the last couple of weeks with dealing with these applications. The business bounce back loan scheme, which was just launched, that has been tremendously successful. So we've had lots of really good feedback from clients who've already gone ahead and applied, and some of them have already got the funds in their account. The process seems to be very, very simple and straightforward. So a lot of the banks have already created a nice, simple online application process, and we're hearing that in a matter of minutes people are able to apply. So that's really good. It's good to see that people are able to get hold of much needed funds very quickly. The job retention scheme and furloughing staff, that continues, as no doubt you'll have seen in the news that they believe that up to a quarter of the UK's workforce was furloughed, which is a substantial amount. And I think just over 8 billion was paid out in furlough grants. So we imagine that's going to be about the same in May, possibly even more. And we understand as well that they're thinking of extending the scheme beyond June, so we'll wait to hear what happens with that. One interesting thing that we thought we'd share with you that maybe not a lot of people are aware of, and I know from talking with many people that this wasn't made clear at the beginning, but the grant, so the money that you actually receive from the government to cover the furloughing, that grant is actually taxable. So you need to be conscious of that, especially in the way that you record that amounts in your accounts, and obviously be aware that that will obviously add to your taxable profits. But if you've got any questions on that whatsoever, please do just get in touch with us. The one I wanted to talk a little bit more about was the self-employed income support scheme, which over the coming weeks will be the main one that will be in the news and people will be hearing about. As you know, they originally planned on rolling that out in June, but it seems like they're pushing for that to happen a bit quicker. So some people have already received communications. We understand that HMRC sent out emails and letters from the 4th of May onwards. So as we mentioned, if they have your email address, you'll get an email. If they've got your mobile number, you'll get a text. If they don't have either of those, we understand they'll be sending letters out, but of course that could be a couple of weeks. Now they're saying that the portal through which you can make your claim will go live from the 13th of May, and you'll be able to actually make the claim from the 15th of May. So HMRC have reached out to us as agents and accountants to ask for our help in rolling out the scheme. However, we're not actually able to access that portal on individuals' behalves. So that's something to bear in mind. They have said that the specific taxpayer, the person who needs to make the claim, they are the only ones that can access that. So please be aware, if this applies to you and you're self-employed, then you need to have a government gateway that is active. If you don't have one, definitely let's get that set up as soon as possible. So if you have any questions on that, just get in touch with us. The other interesting thing to note is that in this communication that people are receiving, HMRC is saying that you are eligible. However, you need to be aware that just because they say you're eligible in that communication doesn't necessarily mean you actually are eligible. Now that might sound a bit contradictory, but there are two key reasons why that's the case. Two of the criteria are that you need to have been trading during the 19-20 tax year, and also you need to be intending to trade during the 2021 tax year, so the current tax year. Now obviously when they send out these communications, HMRC don't know that, so clearly they're planning on finding that out through the process. They've also said that there is an online checker tool for your eligibility. It's one that agents, we can also access, but it only asks for 2 bits of information, the taxpayer's UTR number and the national insurance number. Now again, When you put those in, it's very quick. It tells you that you are eligible, but that's only half the story. There are lots of other criteria that the individual has to meet. So we just wanted to mention that so that you're aware of that, because obviously you shouldn't really take that initial eligibility status as being the final status. There are other things to consider. One thing to be aware of, because HMRC is sending these emails out, please be aware of scam emails. We already understand that there are lots of those out there, unfortunately. Lots of unscrupulous individuals who are wanting to take advantage of this scheme and the fact that you can apply online. So please be conscious of that. Whilst we're talking about being self-employed, the subject of self-assessments obviously is applicable, so we just wanted to give a little bit of a shout out for that. We want to start on your self-assessments as early as possible. So look out, there's a couple of new aspects to the process this year. First of all, there's a really easy online form that we're going to be getting you to fill in, much simpler and quicker for you to tell us about all of the different parts of the self-assessment that apply to you. So that'll be coming out shortly. And secondly, we're changing how we deal with paperwork. So have a look out for that information. That will be coming out by email or possibly by video message very soon. So as we said, we want to get cracking on those self-assessments as quickly as possible. Finally, the other thing to mention is our website. Please go there. There's lots of resources on there, particularly about the government assistance programs and also about our client assistance program, CCAP. Lots of information on there, and yeah, so please visit there and have a look. And if you've got any questions, of course, just drop us an email. So finally, just to tell you about what's been happening here at 10 Forward over the next couple of weeks, we've already started planning for the potential to return to work. Obviously, we're waiting to see what the government guidance is on that. So as you're aware, that the government has said by the end of this week they'll be releasing some initial information on that. So we'll wait and see what information we get. But we've already started making plans to see how we can phase back, getting people back into the office. First and foremost is ensuring that everyone's comfortable with those arrangements. So that forms the majority of our strategy in terms of how we're getting people back into the office. So look out for any changes and developments there. So that's it from me this week. Thank you for listening, and look out for our video message next week. Have a good weekend.